Hello everyone and welcome back to another Christmas speed build, and in this one I will be doing the next part of my park, which is to actually build the Deck the Halls ride. Now this ride I had done the building for and hadn't actually done the ride yet as of last year, so that's what I am doing in this. I've already did an outline of the track, as you can see, but I didn't show it because I changed it that much. I didn't really know which part to show and go from, and like if I just showed you me changing it the whole way through, it would get really boring for you to watch. So I just skipped that bit out and I started doing a big building by here. Now the reason why there's a building leading to this ride rather than it just being like a normal roller coaster is because it's kind of like a dark ride. You know, those kind of rides where you go indoors and look at scenery and stuff. Except with this one it is mostly outside, but because it's still that same style of ride, I had a building that goes to it, so you go into this Deck the Halls building and you know that's the ride that you are going to be going on. And it's called Deck the Halls because it is in the first section of my park, the Christmas Village, and I wanted the Christmas Village to all be themed around stuff that based on, you know, people putting up nice decorations and stuff like that. There's going to be several sections to this Christmas park, I've probably mentioned before, but this first one is the Christmas Village, and the next one, I actually can't remember what the next few are, but the last one is the North Pole. I was originally thinking I was going to call the theme park Journey to the North Pole, but I thought it was a little bit of a long name. I don't know, maybe I will change the name to that eventually, but anyway, here I started doing the roof. I ended up changing my mind a lot with the roof, as you will see in a minute, because I actually struggle the most with roofs more than anything else in these types of building games. Roofs are just really hard and tricky to do and get them to look right, especially on big buildings like this. And I needed this to be a big building because I really needed to put emphasis on it. The sort of the main part of the ride really is that it's this journey to this big lit up house. I kind of took inspiration from when people near Christmas, they go out in their cars and they go out to look at the best houses that have like the most amazing Christmas lights every year, and you save the best for last or something like that. And except with this you actually get to go inside the house as well, and I do some scenery inside, which I'll talk more about later when it actually gets to that. But I did plan on doing like some other houses around here. Later on I only ended up doing one because I did so much other types of like scenery as well, but it is still fitting for a village, I think. So I end up doing one other house, and that one other house I'm going to do is going to be a lot smaller, because you see that house first and it's going to look pretty and everything, but then you're going to go to this and it's going to look even prettier in comparison, and it's going to be what you most look forward to going to when you're on this ride, and just looking forward to getting there to that spot and seeing what's inside the house. So as you can see, I started trying to add some assets to the building. Some different colours at the bottom. I skipped ahead a little bit because some bits just took me so long to do. It would be really boring to watch, especially later when I start putting the lights on the roof and everything. Not these kind of lights, these big lights, but the strip lights that go like across the ridges in the roof and everything. So I tried to add just as much decorations as I could to make it look pretty on the front of the house, as you can see here. I did put that animated door there at first. I ended up removing that, but I might bring it back I can't remember if I've done it in the correct shape to be able to bring it back or not now. My first piece of scenery that I'm adding around the house, and this is what I was talking about with those lights, where I had to skip ahead a bit because it took so long to do those lights all the way around, and it was tedious in real life, so I imagine watching it as a viewer would be quite tedious as well. So adding some more character to the house, adding that what do you call it? It's like the stuff that I'm putting on there now that you can see. I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna have to look into it. It kind of looks like a candy cane, so that's why I chose that particular thingy, I'm gonna call it, to put or to like structure around the house or whatever. And then adding some pretty lights to go around it. I end up changing the shape of this again after this, I believe. I just change my mind a lot. I also thought I would add a balcony piece to the house, just to make it stand out more, give it some extra features rather than it just being a blank wall with lights on it. This is where I started to do the scenes inside the house. So I started with the living room. I had to actually use a lot of things from the Frontier Workshop. If you don't know what that is, you can download other people's creations from the workshop and use them in your builds. So I will be providing credits for the people who have made these things at the end. And I couldn't do it without doing that. Because there's not many like indoor decorations already in Planet Coaster unless you make your own with the shapes, and as much patience as I have to be building like complex stuff, I don't have enough patience for that, and also probably not the skill either, to be honest. This wallpaper was the only one I found that like fitted quite nicely within this living room. There's not much wallpaper choices in Planet Coaster. Most of the indoor things that you get are with the spooky pack in this game. And here you can see me start to do the kitchen as well. I wanted to do a scene that was like a Christmas dinner that was prepared and set up the night before. I kind of think of this as being like a Christmas Eve kind of setting, Christmas Eve night, because Christmas Eve night settings are just very magical, and it also just looks like it's nighttime as well, considering it's nighttime in the game, because I like this park to be a nighttime thing. I also added some custom photos into the frames that I put later on, and I actually used some Christmas family pictures of my Sims from one of my Sims games and used that. And on the TV in the living room as well, I put a custom video playing of a Christmas movie, just to make it look extra cozy. I think it's my first time doing furniture indoors on Planet Coaster like this. The trickiest part of this was actually trying to get the track to go around the different scenes and the people riding the ride, or whatever you want to call it, to be able to see everything close up while also having space to be able to get back out of the building later. That was the biggest challenge, and honestly took me an hour to try and get it right, but it won't seem like that as you're watching it. I cut out failed attempts and everything. And I also wanted it to be up on a platform kind of thing, so you'll see me doing that here and how I do it now. Just like that. I think it looks better that way. It's kind of like how you'd see it in that kind of ride in real life, in like a dark ride with scenery. I wish rides like this existed in real life, but they're too high budget for a Christmas themed ride because, well, they'd only make money once a year. So I did like a little test run of what it looks like when you go around this particular area. I think the middle bit could do some work, like there needs to be some sort of decoration there, but I don't really know what to do yet. I will figure it out though. Maybe some more lighting as well. You can start to see the house coming together here, and I think I'm really happy with how it turned out. It looks very Christmassy. So I decided that the front of the house where you come in looks a little empty, and it needed to have something there, so I put some snowmen. There's snowmen that you can already add that are already in the game, but I decided to make my own custom snowmen so that I could make them exactly how I wanted. The pieces I used were too big to put the scarf on, so I decided to use a ribbon instead, and I think it still looked nice and it worked. And it looks kind of cute. Now you can see me start to add some of the other scenery I'm going to add throughout the ride as well. And we'll get to that later. I thought the snowman looked angry, so I had to keep changing his mouth to try and make him not look angry, but then I realised it was the way I slanted the eyes, and then as soon as I turned the eyes around the correct way and put the smile back on, it looks like a cute little snowman. Well, not a little snowman, a big snowman, but you know what I mean. So this next bit, I wanted to do like kind of like pretending that the village had like a place they were keeping all of their Christmas presents. So I did one of these, originally just going to put the gingerbread, Santa and reindeer in, but I thought I'd save that for later when I do, because I'm thinking of doing a food section in the park, and I was thinking there'd be like loads of gingerbread houses and stuff like that. So I want to save the gingerbread decorations mostly for that and not use them too much in the other areas, so they're not used too much in the park overall. I put some different coloured presents here and some ribbons and lights on the thing. I don't know what it's called, like a gazebo or something. You wouldn't believe how long it took to put those lights on there, because the game doesn't see it as a building, so it doesn't stick automatically. I had to manually place everything, and it was a lot harder than you might expect it to be for some reason, but I got there in the end. I was determined. And of course it would not be complete without a Christmas tree, so I copied and pasted that Christmas tree from over there and put some scenery next to it as well. I have to redo the decorations though, because it didn't copy and paste most of the decorations that I did on that tree. I was thinking of putting carol singers there, but then I thought it might interrupt with the music that I place. So I thought this ride needs something else, so I started creating a Christmas waterfall. I don't really know what I fully had in mind. I was just sort of picturing, I had like a vision of a Christmas waterfall with like penguins, polar bears, and just like a very wintry feeling kind of thing, if that makes any sense. And I just started doing some rocks and getting out the water just to see where it would go, and I was really happy with how this bit turned out. I think it's actually my favourite part of the park, of the ride, apart from the inside the house bit. The water kind of sprays in a weird way, that's the only issue. It kind of looks like it's spraying upwards as well as downwards, so that causes a problem. There's not really much I could do about it, so I just sort of went with it. I thought, how can I make this look even better if I put some water around it underneath? And it really did look a lot better when I did that and brought the whole thing together. And then I went back onto the workshop as well to try and find some cute animals to put there, some cute Arctic animals. And I found such cute stuff that people were making. People make some amazing stuff on the workshop in general as well. Those penguins were from the workshop. Same with that polar bear. And those snow polar bears as well, which I think are absolutely adorable. And that snow reindeer too. And that polar bear and the sea lion. I thought, why not have a sea lion on top of a rock in the water? I think that would be adorable and really bring the scene together. So I start redoing the track, you probably noticed, as I add things into this. Mainly because I just want the people on the ride to be able to have a really good view of the scenery that I am placing in. And by the time I've done that, I'm a lot happier with how the track is going around, because more like what an actual ride would look like, rather than just straight lines going across. And it gets rid of those empty spaces as well. And as you can see, I was left with one empty space, which is where I decided to place my other house, which I don't actually finish in this episode, but I do the structure of it. And you've seen me building a big house earlier, so you don't want to see me do all this again. So I skipped ahead most of this. But you get the idea. And I'll be decorating this in the next episode. And this ride will almost be done by then. Adding some lights to the scene there. I'd think of it as being called like a scene. The Christmas waterfall scene. And now I will show you the whole ride as it is so far. Hope you guys enjoy, and Merry Christmas.